Welcome to today's Fireside Chat with Jesse. I am joined today by Martina Ryder-Porter, partner at Hemar, Rousso, and Heald. Thanks for joining me, Martina.
Good morning, Jesse. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me.
No, I was glad when you approached me at a trade show. Actually, I think it was a conference in Chicago, and you're like, "When are we going to get this recorded?" And I'm like, "That's a good idea." So, I really appreciate your time this morning, Martina.
Thank you very much.
So, for the people in equipment finance who have not had the pleasure of meeting you yet, mind just kind of introducing yourself and how you got into equipment finance?
So I am in Los Angeles at Hemar, Rousso, and Heald. I got into equipment leasing and finance, as well as banking, creditor rights at Hemar 25 years ago in July, the 21st
Wow.
to be exact. I have worked with creditors' rights for that long, and I have enjoyed every moment of working with various clients from the Midwest to the East Coast. We primarily work in California, all 58 counties of California. Hemar, Rousso, and Heald has been here for almost 40 years. Okay. And we actually are the lien network for ELFA for California, one of the two. I came into equipment leasing actually through an interview with one of the managing partners here, Daniel Heald. 25 years ago, I was interviewing. I'm from this area, had moved away for school and graduate school, and interviewed, and he said, "You will have your own trials. You will have your own client contact. You will be working your own portfolio. We will work with you if you have questions along the way." So 3 months later, I found myself in my first trial with a client called Capelco. And for those in the industry, Capelco and Advanta, those are the ones that, so I started practicing law when I was 9, if you're doing the math.
So did you have to go to the East Coast for this trial, or were you?
No, it was in California. Oh, okay. So a lot of our clients across the United States have a lot of business in California, and so essentially, our firm basically, when it started 40 years ago, Richard Hemar went to his best friend Marty Rousso, and essentially said, "Marty, you're in the banking industry, go to law school so that we can become partners together." And that's essentially what happened.
Brilliant.
Yes, yes. And Richard was one of the founding members of Whale that I think became, what it was, at AE?
UAEL.
Yes, and then present day with NIFA. And then we, as the firm, have been a part of ELFA for, I think it's 30 plus years. I mean, it's been for however long ELFA has been around. And so getting back to myself, yes, I took the job and I got sucked back into Los Angeles and moved here, and have been using my business minor in university, much more useful than that major in political science. Ever since then, I'm a partner at Hemar, Rousso, and Heald, and essentially we have 20 plus attorneys that do only creditors' rights. We do not do anything, any other law. We do, which that umbrella is essentially bankruptcy, it's secure transactions. We represent a lot of the banks across the United States. We also work with all of the equipment leasing and secure transactions from ELFA. Most of the attendees we work with. Essentially, we do bankruptcy. We have a team of attorneys that do transactional document review, judgment execution. One of the things that you will find with our firm is, versus a lot of the larger firms, is with some of the larger firms, you might have them have maybe 4 or 5 attorneys working creditors' rights out of, let's say, 1,000 or even a couple hundred, right?
Yeah.
The one thing that is wonderful about our firm is that we all work collaboratively together. And when you have the file going, it's to one of the 22 or 23 of us attorneys. All we do is creditors' rights. So it's a huge enterprise that we each love doing. And we work really well with our clients because some clients like the email, some clients like a call. It just really depends. But a lot of our clients, with the rare exception, I think of one, maybe two, are from 15 to 35 years of experience in creditors' rights. I absolutely love it. I love most of our clients. I get heckled from time to time from our East Coast clients because I like the Minnesota Vikings, but essentially, it's a great firm because we as attorneys handle each of the files. We don't hand it over to anyone else, an assistant or a paralegal. If you need a status, we might have our assistant assist us in getting to the court or getting to the sheriff's office or whomever, whether it's in bankruptcy court, to possibly get the updated filing date, but we are the ones that are responding. One of the things that I really, really enjoy about our firm is that we're nimble. We look at the business aspect of our clients and say, what's important to them? Who are they reporting to? Are they reporting to a team? Are they having weekly meetings? What is going to make them look good or solve the problem that they have? Because sometimes what happens with our clients is we hear, oh, we're having a problem with this state because they don't respond. And you know as well as I do, if you have a case in front of you and it's on your desk, and so that's when you need to have that discussion. So whether it's a phone call or an email, you need to know that somebody is partnering with you to resolve it, to answer your question, to run the conflict check, to, there's a lot of time in my day that I answer a call of a file I don't even have. But the person feels comfortable enough to be able to call and say, this is what we're looking at. My boss or the manager, or I wanted to call you. And we look at it as a partnership with that person, with that team. And this is leasing as well as banking. So one of the things that we always communicate is we're flexible with how you want to be communicated to, but we do respond immediately within hopefully that day, if not the next. And that is so important to us because we really appreciate your time, and we want to make sure that you are getting the answers that you need.
Well, that's a neat little niche you guys have carved out there where it's just your sole focus is X, and all 22, 23 of your attorneys can work on any deal. That's pretty good. So it's almost like what makes leasing organization or equipment finance organization successful, right? Know your lane, know what you're good at, stay in your lane.
Right, exactly. Because when I was in college and deciding, okay, this is what I would like to do, I really like the business end, and I like basically that negotiation. I like the fact that when you're working with on the other side, you're able to speak with the same person or the same team, that they know if you can push it, you're going to push it. And they know you've done the homework. And a lot of times with cases, what happens is you have to be able to listen. Right. Not just to the other side, but listen to your client. Every case is going to be different, and every case is going to be dealt with differently. But essentially, when you're doing a replevin to get the equipment, is that your focus? Is that your focus on the personal guarantor? Is your focus on the business? Everything, when you're looking at a case, you wipe out everything else and you just focus on it.
That's so hard though, because typically you just look up case law and you can do so much research in regards to, okay, well, 9 out of 10, this is going to happen, but the fact that you're actually looking at everything differently, that's pretty impressive.
I mean, I really love what I do. We all do here. And the thing is we're very supportive of each other. If there is a matter where you have a particular judge. So in California, we have 58 counties. So sometimes when you're looking at a contract, you're looking and saying, what are my options?
Right.
Is it where the contract was entered into? Okay, well, it might be this county. If the client or originated out of state, then you're looking at this county. Okay, what's better? And sometimes you look at the judge and you do a little research, and we all share with each other, because one of the things that we find is if you can comply with the most difficult judge that has ever lived on a writ of attachment or a writ of possession and getting that equipment, that's what you keep for everything that you're doing. And the great thing about our firm is you're not paying most of the time for research, because we are already have researched it. We are always sharing with each other. We're always reading on a daily basis what's coming out in the community. But we also look at it, or at least I do, especially is when I'm going to a conference with NEFA or ELFA, I'm constantly going to the CEO panels, the roundtables of the banking and non-banking. You know why? I want to know what's bugging our clients. I mean, sometimes you find out when they're sharing with each other what their default rate is, what they're doing at the front of the deal. Because one of the things that we do sometimes is we look at clients and they're asking us about their contracts as part of a document review. So we're looking at what's negotiated. We're looking at whether they use Salesforce or, in all of these different programs. We want to know, because we have to authenticate it, what programs they're using, what they're following up with. And because I did sales to make my way through school, I did sales for 14 years.
Oh.
It was high school.
It's fine. It's fine.
I started in high school, and it paid for school.
What were you selling? What were you selling?
Oh my gosh, I'm going to age myself. Jordache jeans, 501s. I started when I was 15, and then I ended up at Nordstrom, which that is client customer service.
Oh, absolutely. My first job out of college was at JCPenney, believe it or not. And the guy, like the store manager, was one of the biggest stores they have in the Bronx, was like, I want you to go to Nordstrom's and understand what true customer service is. And I'm like, wait, what? Telling me to go to another retail store? Okay.
I had a book. And basically it was follow-up, and it paid for when I was in, funnily enough, I'm in law school. So I'm thinking, okay, I've done my years of sales and all of that. And I get into the AG's office, the Attorney General's office, and I'm doing all of these really intense child abuse cases, and I'm working really hard. And I got offered the position at the Court of Appeal. So how do I pay my bills? Because you cannot do any legal job when you're in law school if you're working at the Court of Appeal. I went back to Nordstrom and started working part-time to basically, and all of the things of the listening, of the business acumen, of being responsive. I started when I was 15, but also it carried on, again, my fascination with business. How is your business? What is your business acumen? What is, what is it that is running your business? Are you funding? Are you lending? What are the things that are important to you? Because even though I might not be having a conversation all the time with the president of a company or a bank, at the same time, it's just a fascination that I have, because I feel that that is going to then turn around and help. Because let's say you are in the middle of COVID and all of a sudden everybody's working remotely, you looking at, okay, well, your business acumen went from focusing on default rates to, okay, are we going to be filing a lot of bankruptcies? How are we handling that? So where it comes down to is focusing on what the client is talking about and what is important to them.
Nope, absolutely. You kind of hit the nail on the head. My first sales job was when I was 5. We'll leave that there. So anyhow, moving on here. I know we talked, where'd you go to school anyways? What college you go to?
I went to University of San Diego.
Okay.
So it was about 3 hours from here.
Okay.
And I ended up, it was kind of funny. I ended up on the swim team there because I had competed my whole childhood, didn't want to go and swim again, and then realized if I swam and beat the girls that were on scholarship that I could actually pay for school.
Yeah.
So I ended up working a lot, but I come from a humble background. My dad is from Philly. My mom is from England, and
Okay.
they both just raised me to work really hard and keep your nose to the grindstone. So essentially, I got to pay for college that way, which thank God, because then I had to go to graduate school, and there are no scholarships for graduate school for the most part.
No, it's quite the investment that you were able to make in yourself. So it's definitely some solid work ethic you have there. So kudos to your parents on that one.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I wanted to shift to a couple topics real quick. When I was with you in Chicago, you were at that women's council.
Yes.
You know, do you want to just kind of talk about, you know, I want to say, would they have 250 people? Does that number sound
Yes,
right?
there were 250 attendees.
Okay.
Last year in the virtual conference, I believe there were over 200 also.
Okay.
Ben Franz and her team, I wish I could name each one of them individually, did the most amazing job. And I have to give a lot of credit also to ELFA for their team at ELFA for being able to put all of the energy into that space that is so important. I thought it was one of the best conferences as far as the topic. I loved the fact that they had it moving around. So you had 10 top tables, and of the 250 attendees, each hour that there was a topic, you ended up at a different table. So it was an opportunity to basically speak to a number of the attendees. And I found myself speaking with a lot of the younger attendees in emerging talent. And because with you and I, we've both been to NIFA and ELFA for a number of years now. And we love being able to speak with a lot of our clients and a lot of a lot of people that are speaking or on these panels. But this was an opportunity to actually speak with the next generation that we're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I thought that the topics were absolutely on point. I actually really enjoyed the dinner that evening, and I didn't think I would enjoy that 6 a.m. walk the next morning, but we had a really nice group from DLL, and there was probably 25 of us. Again, Jen there is.
It's like 6 a.m. I'm going to 4. Come on, people. Like, come on, be responsible and get 3 hours sleep.
But to be walking on a crystal lake and seeing the big bean at 6:30.
Oh no, I get it. I just, every time I see one of those at a conference, I'm like, I'm gonna do that this the next. I'm not doing that.
Yes, and I was able to stay that evening with one of our clients had hosted an event for the funding, and that was really quite amazing. It was right near the Federal Bank of Chicago. And that was, it's an opportunity to be able to connect one-on-one with our clients.
Yeah.
And sometimes there are, like I said before, departments that you don't necessarily resonate with or speak to because it's not your daily or your weekly conversations. But it is always an opportunity to be able to connect with them and listen to what is going on with their business, what is going on with what they're concerned about within the industry.
Well, and plus the energy that you just get from being around, you know, 200 plus like-minded people that just want to learn let's face it, we went like 24 months almost without that. So it's just feeling that energy. Just I didn't attend that event, but I was out there, and just the energy in that lobby bar area was,
there were no bars.
contagious.
Yeah, I don't know what.
No, I mean the social lounge, I guess we'll call it that.
Yeah, there was a lot of coffee and leather chairs and intellectual conversation.
I don't know. I don't think they started serving till like 4, so I really can't call that a bar, anyways. So whatever.
No, it was the emerging talent, the Women's Council, the topics we just I've had the pleasure of starting Women in Inclusion and chairing that for HRH, not Her Royal Highness, but Hemar, Rousso, and Healed.
I like the 3-letter acronym. I can't mess that up. Well, I probably can, but yeah.
So yes, it is very important to have not only inclusion for women, but diversity. And I am very proud to be able to say that more than half of our partners at our firm are women. Okay. I'm also very happy to say that a lot of our attorneys come from every type of background and diversity. And we work very hard at making sure that we as partners are listening to conversations and bringing up topics to make sure those conversations continue. And that was one of the things that I was energized by, and over the last 2 or 3 years with ELFA's Women's Council, because that's the focus. One of the things that I also enjoyed was with the next set that is rising, the emerging talent, was they were given opportunities like you do at the credit and collection conference of doing roundtables and saying, here is your situation, how would you approach it? And having that open space to be able to talk as a group with that, which I think is incredibly priceless at whether you're the boss or the person that, the employee.
Well, and providing that kind of intimate setting for that conversation's key. I mean, as much as I seem like I enjoy talking, you probably see me when different events, I'm never shutting up. If I'm in a big room, unless someone calls on me, I'm good. Just I will listen to other people's perspectives.
You and I are identical with that. I am fine one-on-one, but if you get a group, that's when I go into youngest in the family, youngest of a huge family, listening, throwing out a comment from time to time, or adding a quip. I think that's the English Philly side of me, Never lose your sense of humor.
There's nothing wrong with a good old, gotta lighten this thing, it's too serious. And then I noticed that coming out of that those meetings that you were in, you're going to be taking on a mentee as a part of the mentorship program.
Yes, I was really happy to be offered that position from the Women's Council. So essentially, it is a brand new program, and it is a number of us are going to be Zooming in 10 days to start the initiation. We've each been given a mentee. I've already spoken to her 3 or 4 times at the women's conference, funnily enough, and I had met her the month before we had been put together at the NEFO conference in Newport Beach. But I loved the fact that she was a senior marketing executive, and that she really wanted me to speak a lot. And I said, the focus of this program is for me to listen. And if you feel as if you want to try to change something, or if you want to focus on something, that's my role, is to listen to you and not give you examples of where I've come from, but just to listen to where you are, because sometimes saying it out loud, then you'll be able to use that person as a sounding board of me asking a question. Do you mean this? She said, are you sure you can't give me some advice. I said, well, let's focus on what they tell us in 10 days. But I think that's essentially where, but it's an amazing program. I'm so excited to be in the pilot program for it. And I think it's again, I love the fact that I can put this energy into ELFA. I've had 25 years of litigation, 25 years of doing workouts and working with clients. I oversee clients to make sure that everything is seamless at the firm. I do answer the phone all day to clients that basically, we have this file, or can you answer this question? But I feel now I'm pivoting to give back and focus my energy on ELFA and looking at what all of the programs like Nancy is leading. And I loved your interview with Nancy Pistoria from Madison Capital. I loved speaking with her a few weeks ago in Chicago, as well as somebody like Nancy Robles from Eastern Funding. It's these programs that are so important to give back, but also to essentially put my energy wherever it's needed, to get more attendees for ELFA, to get more connections. I have to commend you so much, Jesse, for doing this, because I feel this is an opportunity for each of us individually to learn about somebody and connect. And that's what this business is about.
That's where these kind of started. Originally, it was just in the pandemic where you couldn't get in front of them. But at the end of the day, they had so much momentum behind them. And right now we're booked out to the end of July, which is great, because
I love that.
You would think that people would be like tired of looking at my hands moving around or my eyes going sideways, but they still enjoy them. So I'm like, all right, we'll keep it up.
I got a fireplace from you, so I'm really excited about that.
There you go. There you go. So Martina, I ask everyone who comes on here a little fun fact about themselves. So is there anything you'd like to share with the audience?
Okay, so I have never, so I am athletic and I love sports, but I have never looked at a mountain and said, I must climb it, ever. I look at it and say, that's really beautiful, keep yourself in the distance. But I'm also a little spontaneous, and coming from humble beginnings, when I traveled, it was usually on a bit of a shoestring budget. But I found myself when I was 30, I think I was 31, so a couple years ago, out with a friend who said, I'm going to Africa, I'm going to climb Kilimanjaro, and I would like you to go, and we'll go to Egypt before and after and go on a camping safari. Huh? So I had been working at Hemar for a while and hadn't taken a vacation because, I just hadn't. Huh. And 2 weeks later, went and my big pull was, okay, I'm not there for Kilimanjaro. I'm there for the camping safari, see animals, and maybe go through Luxor and Karnak. But when you're on your 6th day of climbing the hardest trek, and it's 3 a.m, and you're looking at a sheer cliff with no ropes to get to the summit, all you could think of is, I don't remember seeing this in the brochure.
I made a bad life choice. You fake a cramp.
My God, that was the one promise I said to myself, don't open your mouth from the whole 7 days, just, Oh, I got it. I did the 20,000 feet and got to the top and wrote my name in the book. It was amazing, but I still, again, I climbed Kilimanjaro, but it wasn't something that was, that is my fun and painful fact.
That's fair. And then I guess in closing here, like at the end of the day, with the different law firms and equipment finance, why should people do business with HRH?
I think essentially it is important that we are very responsive to our clients, listening to what they need, moving immediately, responding to status requests. same day, if not the next day. We are really well versed. We have so many attorneys doing with bankruptcies, specific things in the equipment industry that are having 22 plus attorneys doing just that type of law and working with the various judges and counties. It is something that I find is priceless to a lot of our clients. And we really work collaboratively with each other in all aspects and support each other. A happy employee means a happy client. So
Nope.
it's really important to each of us that we work well together and that we support each other.
Spot on, Martina, spot on there. So I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for sharing your story and a little more insight HRH. And sorry, Hemar, Rousso, and Healed.
Yes,
so
yes. Thank you so much.
But I appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you at some upcoming events here in the near future.
I will see you in June at the, if you go to the credit and collections. I'm really looking forward to that in June.
All right, absolutely, Martina. Have a good day.
Thank you again for the invitation.
No problem. Take care.
Take care.